You need to finish what you started. Other is a Shudder original from filmmaker David Moreau, who's worked on films like The Eye and Mads. This is also written by John Goldman, and after an opening scene that sets the tone that I'll talk about in the spoiler section, we zero in on Alice. Not of Alice Sweet Alice fame. This Alice is played by Olga Kurylenko, who is with a man named Charlie, played by Philip Scherer, and they seem to just be happy together. Anyway, so they have a brief bit of exposition about where they think this relationship will be going, and then Alice is thrown a curveball in life when she finds out that her mother, that she is estranged from, passed away, and she decides to go to her mother's house, basically to make sure that everything goes well with the autopsy because her mother was found dead, make sure everything goes well. And her mother was a bit of a kook, shall we say, as far as having massive amounts of surveillance in the woods, pointing out to the woods, and in the house. Tons of alarms, tons of security, tons of crazy shit going on. She was a kook. Or is it possible that she had the security for a damn good reason? Because Alice has memories that flood back into her brain and into the very pits of her soul, because she left that house a number of years ago, but now everything is flooding back. And there is something lurking nearby that could just be a memory from her past, or could it be something far more sinister? So I found out this got shoved out on Shudder just today, as I'm recording this, late Friday night. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Olga Kurylenko has never been necessarily a good or even decent actress. She is mainly there for her looks. I'm not saying she's a terrible person, but if acting ability was what she had to solely rely on, she'd be like, basically starving is all I'm going to say. But that being said, she basically has to carry the goddamn movie because it's pretty much a one location shoot. I mean, outside of like a little bit of the stuff with Charlie, it is pretty much just a one location, one, area shoot. That's pretty much all this is. And it also has a super obvious and telegraphed conclusion that if anybody has even half of an attached brainstem, or half of a tenth of an attached brainstem, you're going to figure this out well before the credits even get close to rolling. So that being said, let me talk about the positives. Mads was a great, bleak, depressing as fuck, hell of a ride that really cheered me the fuck up. I had a great time with Mads. I wasn't sure how to take it, but it was a new spin on the zombie infected type thing. It was really goddamn good, and I was like, oh boy, the director of Mads, I'm all for it. He also did The Eye, that featured Jessica Alba. Speaking of somebody that pretty much cannot really act all that well. I mean, her in a horror movie, not all that great. It was horrifying. It got made. And his other films, it's a mixed bag, shall we say. But Mads, that's something that just came out last year. So, okay, cool. Here's the problem. It has Olga fucking Kurylenko in it, who I'm sure is nice. But good God, her trying to carry this damn thing? Good grief. But don't worry, the horror will save it. It'll save it from being good. This movie is terrible. This movie is 1000% terrible. I thought The Other, which yes is another horror movie that I reviewed that actually came out just a little bit ago. I paid money to watch that. Now it's on Tubi. And I'm really fucking pissed at myself that I paid money for it. But it was really bad. It was like a micro-budget Malignant to an extent. Sorry if that's a spoiler. And they just decided to cut off, a few letters. Actually, they decided to cut off one letter, but more on that in the spoiler section. Sorry, that probably is a bit of a spoiler. But the thing that made me laugh about the opening credits was in association with Voltage Pictures and Disney Plus. Is Disney Plus going to acquire Shudder? I mean, fuck, they're going to absorb Hulu into their goddamn service. But yeah, it's one of those smart houses, and basically, now because Alice either hates technology or doesn't understand it, and I'm going with pretty much the latter, given how Olga's acting ability is barely, deeper than a teaspoon of water, she ends up trapped through a series of stupid decisions. And also, it kind of reminds me a bit of The Pact, except The Pact actually was halfway good. The second one, less so. But yeah, it's one of those home invasion type things, or, just that with some family trauma and everything. And just the movie itself has a singular focus, but tries to go so many different directions at the same time, while just being rooted in just sitting down and not accomplishing anything. I got more and more mad at this movie because it was so obvious where it was going. And an obvious conclusion, obvious twist, reveal, whatever, is not the worst thing in the world. But it was really pretty much obvious, not just after the opening scene, but especially with the discussion that Alice and Charlie ended up having. Also, the mother, Julie, was played by Julie Mays, or Maz, which I guess they didn't trust Julie to remember another name. Then again, she was only in the opening fucking scene, so I guess that makes sense. But yeah, this movie was dumb as hell. I do not understand how in the world this thing was 90 minutes long, and yet it took 3 hours to complete. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So yeah, it's on Shudder if you want to check it out. Kind of did that backwards. So, we have a guy that is later identified as Tyler that has a weird doll mask face that is basically saying, There's a murder that happened in 2021. There's a guy named Tommy. Tommy, can you hear me? Can you feel me near you? And he's trying to figure out what the hell happened. Like something happened here, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. Subscribe to my channel. Well, more on that here in a minute. So, Julie basically ends up putting on this weird GIMP mask, this almost like sleep style GIMP mask, and has a PetSmart app, not PetSmart, the store chain, but PetSmart, like some app where you can check on your pet, like with a collar and everything. So she finds that she has a weird whistle, finds a dog collar, and ends up getting killed by something. So it is either something that has been bagged and tagged that got loose, or it is something that she was keeping prisoner. I'll tell you right now, since it's a spoiler section, and fuck you, it is the latter, because there's a reason for that. I noted Olga cannot act for shit. I'm sorry, she fucking can't. So, she's worried about getting pregnant, even though she has an IUD, and Charlie, does certain... That can be something that would be a little bit worrying. She really doesn't want to be pregnant. We find out why a little bit later, as if that's not telegraphing it enough. So, she goes to some place, I guess, that she works at that deals with animals, and one animal is acting really rabid, a dog, and it got shot, and the blood went all over her face. None of this, it sort of, I guess, ties into something a little bit later with the dog collar thing, but kind of also not really. So the mother's body was spotted by a kid that is later identified as Tyler, the kid in the doll mask and stuff like that. And the surveillance is all over the goddamn woods. There's even a drone that Tyler has, because Tyler's keeping an eye on this. There's a reason. He's keeping an eye on this place because he wants goddamn subscribers for his channel. The only thing that made me laugh about this was Veruca Salt's Seether being used twice for no reason. There's old candy from 1999, old weed. And what is happening is what I'm knowing. Olga walked around in a shirt and underwear for about 20 minutes, which doesn't sound like the worst thing. Because don't get me wrong, Olga Kurylenko's an attractive woman. The problem is that's pretty much all that, part of the movie had. Oh, there's a secret spot in the ceiling with some guy's jacket, her first love, James Huston. You Huston? She goes to her old stuff that's untouched. All this stuff's untouched. The mother not breaking into her room. What's happening? Why did this happen? What in the world? The mother didn't bother to investigate this stuff. Her old electronic diary about, and had entries from talking about James, first dating James and then fucking James and wanting to do it over and over and over again. I can make a joke, but I'm not going to. And there's a message from the mother, open the door, I promise you I'm going to attach you to and it cuts off. Gee, I wonder what she's going to attach her to. So yeah, Olga in her underwear for about 20 minutes, maybe even 30. I mean, I lost track of time. She keeps hearing weird noises, and she heard those before she moved out of the place, so, strange things are going on. It's like that Simpsons episode where Mom, Hugo's eating his napkin. Are you getting it yet? It's not the twin thing. So then the groundskeeper shows up. Make way for Willie! I said, make way for Willie! And yeah, the groundskeeper just left stuff. Like, just left, certain things because the groundskeeper wasn't allowed in the house because the mother was very clean. Had plastic stuff all over the furniture. Also, Olga finds old tapes that her mother literally had like a closet full of tapes, keeping tabs on her diet, having her pose look pretty, say she's beautiful, say it with confidence. And then there's, strange paw prints in the dirt. It doesn't really make a lot of sense given the reveal later on. Don't show your face, hide your face, Tyler says. Oh, and the shock collar also is a key where whatever's wearing the shock collar can put it up to a door and say pet entering, pet entering. How'd the mother have time to have this house made and retrofit and whatever? It's fine. So, by the way, her worrying about being pregnant, she ends up getting sick. By the way, her keys went missing. The thing didn't take her keys. It actually turned out to be Tyler that took her keys. There's a reason for this. That reason is plot armor. But she's worried that she's pregnant. By the way, she also called, the security, or the car security people to deliver her another key. And they just happen to know where the fuck she is. Oh, and it turns out she is pregnant. So just drink and smoke old weed that she had in her collection. That weed has to be skunky. And then she puts on her Miss Teen 1999 gown and is in a pool parading around doing a speech and then throwing her shoes. I know it's probably supposed to be a manifestation of her dealing with all the trauma that she had from her mother controlling and regimenting her entire life. And had I had a reason to give a shit and had it been anybody other than Olga Kurylenko, I might have bought into this a little bit. What is happening? What is fucking happening is what I'm noting. I mean, I know what's happening. I just think that it's really stupid how it's presented. And she heard sounds when she was there. That's why she left. She told Charlie she was pregnant. And Charlie basically ends up driving out there because he couldn't get a plane. They're somewhere in the Midwest, I think. Because I saw East 94. And that's from Michigan eastward. No, eastward. Michigan eastward. So be going more towards I guess, like, New York or something. Actually, I don't know if 94 runs to New York. Nevertheless. So we see more controlling stuff from the mother, like her weight being controlled. And okay, there's something here with a mother controlling that kind of stuff. And the reason she is doing this, and the reason she's doing this is practically being smashed over your head, even though they try to make it a shocking reveal. But then Olga, I mean, I know her name's Alice, but just saying Olga's just funnier because she keeps trying to not have her accent and it just doesn't fucking work. Neurovex is something for dogs. But anything below 170 pounds, it could be lethal, I guess. Charlie is driving to meet her. So then this thing takes her phone, briefly. The house is then on lockdown after she gets a replacement key thing. And yeah, she ends up basically hearing her phone going down the basement and sees the goddamn thing and runs out and manages to get out the house, get a shirt up on the fence, but the barbed wire up there, she ends up getting her ring caught and ends up ripping her finger a little bit. It's kind of gross, but, it's not nearly the worst thing I've seen. And yeah, so that's not really going too well. Tyler, by the way, shows up. I told you to hide your face. Because that's why he has a doll mask thing on. Or whatever. Tyler then basically races off, but then his bike's down. And oh my god, Tyler's been hurt. And hearing his voice from a bunker that just happens to be out in the fucking woods. And he traps her there. There's a reason he traps her there. That reason is plot armor. So, I'll open it tomorrow morning. You'll be safe down there. Oh, and Charlie has just arrived at the house, so he's fucked. She probably should have bandaged that finger. I mean, this bunker had quite a few things. It had full working tech, like cameras and everything. So I guess the internet in that forest is fucking phenomenal. And she tries to warn Charlie, but you can't call him. Turns out Tyler stole the keys, as I said. He says, I'm trying to do something. If you can capture a picture of this thing, then I'll tell you where the keys are. Who are the real villains? Who are the heels? And who are the heels? Who are the faces? What is going on? Is it real? Is it Memorex? Why am I wasting my time with this? So she manages to get out of the goddamn thing. And then races through the forest with following painted red arrows on these trees. And she manages to get in the house. She's talking to Tyler. The battery is almost running out on this night vision camera, by the way. Great job charging it down there, Charlie Tyler. I know what his name is, but let's move on. Charlie gets all cut up. His face is all carved up because he hates faces. Why does he hate faces? Well, we find out. But don't look him in the eye, bitch. Keep your eyes down. So anyway, what is this shit is what I noted. So there's something to speak and spell thing. It keeps getting hit and it says OTT, saying this wrong, but it's spelling other. And has her pinned down, is going to see her face. And then suddenly the police, by the way, were called by Tyler, and the police show up and have her there. They're investigating. They have a science team investigating all this, dusting for prints, whatever the fuck they're doing. Oh, and by the way, she hears from her mother, you have to finish what you started. So one more tape. And Alice had something tied around her stomach, this kind of stuff, because she was gaining weight. And why would a 17-year-old be gaining weight? Oh, she had sex with James. Oh, what happens when two people have sex and they don't use protection? Oh, she's pregnant. Oh, she's pregnant. Okay. So that's what it basically was. And the mother was pissed. The mother was pissed at the fact that her daughter was pregnant and basically shunned the child. Shunned the goddamn child. That's what it is. It's a shunned child. She's at the hospital. While Tyler is going to investigate and finds out, oh my God, he hates his own reflection. And Olga Alice is at the goddamn hospital and hears, more stuff from the speech, or the speak and spell thing. And then she looks at the speak and spell and there's one letter taken out. It's M, mother, because that's her kid. That's the goddamn, man, you fucking serious? You fucking serious? Really? That's the big shocking reveal you had? I assumed that much when she talked about the fact that, she was worried about having a kid with Charlie. And then she was worried because she was pregnant. Because of the fact that it was hammered into her that being pregnant at that age, whatever this kind of stuff. It's so... Why were there dog prints if he was able to... He was able... Whatever. You know what? I'm thinking too much into it. Other is terrible. This is terrible. This might end up being one of the worst horror films of the year. I don't know. There's so many... there's so much wasted potential. And it could have at least been basic. And no, it was just bad. But Mads is great. Go watch that and go support David Moreau's other films. Don't support this one. Because good God, y'all. Good God. Gets an F. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland, and until we hopefully never have to use the speak and spell again, happy trails to you.